What's up, everybody? Welcome to an earlier edition than usual of PLD Projects, the PLD-1138. I have quite a crew with me. You see, I'm a little bit dark side today. I don't have my lights on because, it's just so early in the morning. But I have my crew today. One person who I'm usually with, my brother from another mother, from Estonia, Richard Eric Jarvi. My friend, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Feels kind of bittersweet that we're nearing to the end of season 3. But I'm super excited. The best is still to come, so I'm excited to talk about this episode.
Absolutely. And then, of course, Matty Gunner, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, my man. Always pleasure to be here, talk Star Wars with you guys. Nerd out a little bit about the finer things in life, which is Star Wars. And yeah, we're going to have fun today.
And yes, you probably should be, Andres. We do a spectacular in a few hours, but we're going to do this, then catch like a little bit of sleep for those of us who do sleep. Somebody who doesn't sleep is one of my best friends on the internet, my wife, indeed. Bidoor, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great with the 2 hours of sleep that I had.
What is sleep? Yeah.
I know. It's like 2 hours now, and then after this is done, it's going to be like 1 hour or half an hour. So I'm doing great.
Well, I'm so glad to have you here on the show, Bidoor. We've been doing I started with Richard. I joined with Matty, and now I've got Bidoor. So now I'm just overflowed with riches of friends on this show now at this point. And we have some people to chat. I said that Jeremiah Morris, I don't know if I can ever come back to the light side fully, but the Baby Yoda memes could draw me. And of course, level 2 trading always in my chats. Love you, brother. Oh. Good to have you in there. Why the hell am I awake? I don't know, because I'm still drinking. I drank half the bottle of Jameson last night, and the reactors slowed down, but I'm sober enough to keep going. We're going to do something special today. We're going to talk about, every week we talk about Mandalorian. We do our little recap of the episode that just aired on Thursday night, Friday morning. But today we also had a lot of news from Disney. So we're gonna I can't not talk about it on this show, the speculation we have going forward, but we'll get there. We'll do Mandalorian first, then we'll get into the news. This episode, the penultimate, as Mark Ellis would say, the penultimate episode of the season. What did you guys think? Your first thoughts, Bidoor? What was your we'll get into the details. What was your overall quick
I enjoyed this episode. I was kind of sad that I thought this was going to be like another side mission, but it ended up not being it. It was a side mission that moved the story forward. So I was not mad about it. The episode was great. There was a lot of little Easter eggs for anyone who's played the games or watched the things that you're like, oh,
right.
But overall, I enjoyed it. Loved Bill Burr. Very, very 180 from season 1. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you were the ones who didn't like Bill Burr.
I didn't hate him. It was just
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll get definitely more into that. I just want to get your first impressions. Matty, what was your first impressions of the episode?
I loved it. Every episode this season I have loved, and the same with this. And I always find that I love them for different reasons. Like each episode carries with it its own unique style. It's very episodic, but each episode is very different. Add to that, I think Jarvi's cousin knocked it out of the park.
Yes, cousin. It was all about Bill Burr. That was the main reason why I love this episode, for sure. There's something else that happened towards the end of the episode. I won't say what it is now. When we get to it, we'll talk about it, because that was my biggest Easter egg of the entire episode, and I was so excited when it happened. I think Matty knows what it is.
Yeah,
that's kind of funny. Yeah, that was one of the reasons Bill Burr was not well universally liked in the first season. He had his Boston accent and kind of thing. I kind of got that he did take me out a little bit in the first season. But I still liked him. But I gotta say, in this episode, he completely won me over, and I want to see more of his character now. At this point, he was the epitome of a Dave Filoni character. And what I mean by that is, in his first episode, he kind of did some, I don't want to say indefensible or unredeemable type things. The things that they he establishes that this guy's not a great guy. And I talk about like something like what Callus did in the Rebels. He kicked the stormtrooper off, like kills the stormtrooper, and yet still, spoilers, Callus eventually turns good. Hondo has done some unforgivable things in like Clone Wars, and yet all of a sudden he'll like just wink or smile at the young Jedi. And you know that he's got a heart of gold. Yeah. This was Bill Burr's episode where he's involved with like the killing of New Republic agent in the first season. You know, this episode is all about his kind of sort of redemption in a way. You see like how much heart this guy has, and all of a sudden at the end of the episode, when this episode is all said and done, I want more Bill Burr.
Yes.
Yeah. This is Star Wars though. There's no such thing as unredeemable. We've had people blow up planets and still get redeemed. So we're good with Bill Burr.
They kill kids that can be redeemed. Anything else is kind of like second
my thing about Bill Burr, right, was, and Jarvi and Paul, we talked about this on Class Action. He reminds me so much of Leo Getz in this.
Yeah. He was
Leo Getz. Like, he was constantly like prodding and poking at Mando. He's the sidekick that won't shut up. But like he's useful in so many ways, but you're just like, dude, shut up.
It's funny. Go ahead, Joe.
No, he started off that way, but he ended the episode as like a fully fleshed character. And the fact, I feel like this episode gave us a reason why he was this sort of a vile creature in the first season. Now we know what happened to him, why he has that dark side, why he's sort of, I don't know, going through these emotions and what made him into that guy. Because he suffered a lot psychologically during the battle of, I can't remember the name, that Valen Hess tells the story to.
Vernon Khan.
What was it?
Vernon Khan?
Yes.
That's right. So we know why he turned into this sort of has like PTSD or sort of.
Yeah, no, it is true. He definitely shows himself that like he has a dark side to him, but it's all because of what he had done before. But let's say, I think we'll get there. Let's go back towards the beginning of the episode. We knew this was coming because we saw the flash with Cara Dune as far as we're going to get Mayfield and whatever else. Right from the get-go, I felt more endeared to Bill. Let me take it back a little bit. I was not against Bill Burr in like season 1. I kind of thought he was fine. I had no problem with him. But like the first part of this episode, I was immediately endeared to him. Like, oh, this is what we're gonna do with this character. Okay. Like the joking with the droid about like, having to go with Cara Dune. He's like, what? Where are we going? He seemed like more in tune with the Star Wars universe than he even was previously. I love the planet. I love getting to see a Republic prison planet. That's a nice side with the droids in terms there. I love the world building as far as that goes. And I'd love to actually see more of that for some reason. Something the prison planet sparks a lot of potential for me. I don't know. Would you guys like the prison planet there?
It reminded me of the beginning of Jedi Fallen Order.
Good call.
Yeah, and even like I don't remember who I was watching with, and someone said, "Do you think Cal Kestis is gonna show up?" I'm like, "Don't think so." Was that you? No, you weren't watching with me.
I wouldn't watch it with you, but I said the exact same thing. I think he's gonna show up, but.
Well, level 2. Obviously, Bill Burr is no Ed Harris.
Give him time.
Maybe in a couple of 10, 15 years, we'll start talking again. But, of course, Ed Harris could have played the role better, obviously. But...
Whoa.
What would you do? What will be? I want a camera on PLD's face when Ed Harris eventually shows up in Star Wars.
Oh, well, he kind of did. I'll show up there right there. That's where he is. Callus guitar. Or Legends.
I love that you have it saved.
Of course. Yeah, that came up way too fast.
I'm ready to go at any time.
I feel like he has like, have you seen Ed Harris in Jurassic Park? Like, hold on.
Well, boop. But basically, but Bill Burr did a good job. I agree. The Fallen Order thing was cool. The Fallen Order vibe, I should say, as far as that planet goes, is really cool. But then we go. Obviously, we have everything moved. I think overall, I want to say, like it felt like what Bidoor had said. It was like a side mission, but yeah, it definitely moved everything forward. Where
the episode moved very fast.
It was very fast.
We got lots of settings. I thought that this was going to be the sort of a transportation mission, sort of get the Rhydonium from point A to point B, and that's going to be the whole like filler episode. Sort of that's what it felt like. And then we get these. Well, we'll get to it, but I thought that was going to be it. It moved. It moved.
It was a very fast-paced episode. It was a very action-oriented episode.
It's a very short episode, which I was kind of disappointed
36?
with. 36?
36 minutes.
36?
Including like the beginning and the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, so pretty much like 30.
then it's less. That's probably
36
30.
minutes for some people is a lot of time. We're not go there, though. You're probably glad about that, but
I was waiting for it, honestly.
You're supposed to keep that a secret, Paul. I told you that in confidence.
But no, I agree.
What Sari said.
It's always a thing that you want more. Always leave them wanting more. That's true. You know what? That's a good point.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true.
And the truth is, there is still filler with Filoni episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You could have, if it's a 30-minute episode, you could have 28 minutes of filler, but those 2 minutes are going to come back hardcore in some kind of fashion that you really have to see it for. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can link him back to this episode with season 1 when Bill Burr was his first episode was considered a filler episode. Yet they brought him back and continued the story forward. So you never know. Right. It's like a filler for this season, but overall story arc probably not.
Right. And I was so happy to see him back, and I can't wait to see more. He's going to be kind of one of those recurring characters. I hope we see more, not necessarily even in Mandalorian, but as we're going to get to the Disney show, we'll talk more about that later on. But also comics and books and stuff like that. There's so much we can go into with this character, and it's just expanding the world. People complain sometimes about Star Wars being so small, as far as like always being so inclusive. These are the kind of characters that are have big personality you get to see more of, and it'd be very, very cool to see. But anyway, we are moving on. We move on to, they went to the mission on Morak, as they say. He has to find an Imperial base of sorts that can connect to some kind of terminal to get the coordinates where Moff Gideon has taken our little Dave, as Matty calls him.
Yep, little Dave.
I'm still calling him Dave.
We have to get used to Grogu, though.
I'm
still saying Baby Yoda.
Or
yeah,
Baby Yoda. I still love Matty calling him Dave, so I think
yeah. It's the first episode without Dave, and I'm sad.
I love it
completely without him.
You know, I gotta say,
like literally since the beginning of the show, it's the first episode without him. Like not even his little tiny finger, which we got in episode 1.
You're right, and I did miss him in a way. But at the same time, it was cool to see a successful episode without him.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely like it's like pushing it to a point where, look, we're not gonna get rid of him now, but if we do, this is what you're gonna get.
We're okay.
Exactly. You hit it right on the head. I was thinking that the Grogu storyline might wrap up, but I don't think Mandalorian will wrap up.
Yeah,
so we can see that the show can carry on without him easily. I don't want it to, but it can, and it probably will.
Yeah. So we go to Morak, and we're gonna have to find this way into the base and everything else. And this is where, like, Filoni and company and Favreau do great, and Rick Famuyiwa, who does the director.
Famuyiwa.
I can't say that.
Famuyiwa.
Rick F. Great director.
Rick F.
I'm just a little. I had a lot of Jameson tonight, so pronouncing things are gonna be difficult.
I literally was talking to you like 3 hours ago when you were drinking.
Exactly, but Rick F. And they do a great job of like teasing things that are coming, and we have the one big tease in the beginning where Mando might have to take his mask off, but he doesn't. He's like, oh no, I'm not going to do it. He's gonna join and become the trooper to get here. They're like kind of like, okay, it's kind of a tease. They're like, all right. But then as you they have the whole venture into the base. I don't know about you guys. They got this complete like Mad Max Fury Road.
That's what I
as well. Mandalorian Fury Road. Yeah,
Mandalorian Fury Road. That's what I got. I loved watching it. The whole thing was a great action piece. But beyond the action, we had some great like self-discovery moments with Bill Burr.
Mhm.
Bill Burr was great in this episode to kind of push the Mandalorian crew, to push Din to where he needs to go in a way. You start talking about like he completely like attacks his whole point. Like, well, you know, is it you can't take your helmet off? Or is it just you can't show your face? Which is it? Because it's definitely different. And here you are, and it's uncomfortable for Din.
He says nothing. He's just silent.
Yeah.
They can't answer it.
Yeah,
right?
and I love the other thing that he says. Like, if you're born on Alderaan, you think one thing, and if you're born on Mandalore, you think another thing, and it's very, very true. I think this is I did not. I mean, we'll get to that moment, but I didn't think it was gonna happen. I screamed.
Right. I was like waiting for it. I'm like, it's just gonna be a tease, but it's a great like red herring for what's gonna come later on. You're like, okay. It's almost like they're like, okay, I'm on PLD project, so I can say whatever I want to say. And I'm sorry for offending anybody, but it's like you put the tip in a little bit, and you're not quite ready to go all in. You're not ready to go balls deep yet, but later on you go balls deep.
Yeah.
This is the beginning part to get the teasing factor. Like, holy shit, what's going on?
Star Wars is a kid's show, Paul.
Sorry. Okay,
look. We were doing our watch along today with Clone Wars. It is not a kids show.
There's a lot of deep and dirty stuff in there.
It is not a kids show.
But anyway, there is some great philosophical moments we've seen Bill Burr's character and Din, and then we get the action. And there's a lot of action to be had. It's an alien race that I'm going to betray my Star Wars knowledge here. I didn't recognize the race. I think it was a new race in Star Wars. From I couldn't really. Did anybody have any?
At first, I thought they were the same race as Hondo.
I kind of thought that too initially, but I feel like it wasn't quite the same. It was a little bit because their faces were a little less. I don't even know what the word is. Sharp. That's one way to put it.
That's one way.
But either way, there's a lot of action. Although I don't know about you guys, if I'm gonna get nitpicky about things, like it's like there's there's almost an unbelievable amount of pirates that kind of kept coming.
Yeah. Just like waves.
Yeah,
that's actually the video game.
Here's
the video game
aspect.
Like getting waves in. That's what we've seen in the Rodriguez episode as well. Like these waves, and they just have to hang on. I feel like the video game aspect is used quite a lot in this show, and it works.
Okay, they say they're pirates, like Ginger and what's Bill Burr's character's name?
Mayfield.
They say that they're pirates. Do you think they're pirates or just locals trying to fend it off?
For sure, locals.
For sure.
I feel like that's also like a prelude when they drive through the village. I know these are like humans there, but it doesn't matter. It can be different species on a planet.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a prelude. They're driving through, they're giving these bad looks. And after that, they know where they are, and they send in the pirates, or sort of freedom fighters, let's say then.
And that's what I want to say. Freedom fighters are in there. And you know what? We'll talk about that in a little bit, Andres. I promise you on that one. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Do you mind if I bring it back just a little bit? There's a few things before we get into the action that I wanted to discuss, and that is when we see Boba Fett's new armor, or sort of refurbished armor. So
I'm not massive on it.
You're not mad about it?
No, I'm not too keen on it.
Me either.
Yeah,
I want it straightened and battered and bruised, because that shows him as a person. Like, he's been through so much. He's been through wars, all this trauma, and I feel like the armor is a reflection of the person who wears it.
Yeah, this is way too shiny.
I'm with him, but I have like two different views because there's so many people having conversations in my head. I have two different views on it. Like, one is like, yes, this is like his legacy of what his armor has went through. But two, I feel like because he's been without it for so long that he feels like pride in getting it back. So he wants it back just for like a new fresh start. But I don't like it. I want it like dinned and scrapped and all of that. And I don't like it clean.
Yeah, I've always been more dirty. I like it dirty anyway. That's the way I've always been. Well,
there we go again, Paul. Just reining in.
It that way, but it's not wrong either, so I'll let it go.
And also the fact that we see the inside of, and not just the cockpit of Slave One, but the cargo holder, the Slave One, and then it looked like it was revolving. Something was like moving around it, and it looked really cool.
I did like it.
That's the first time we've seen inside of it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that part of it. Yeah, we saw
that part, like
clones, obviously, but not that part of it. So yeah.
That was really cool. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
These two things I wanted to touch on.
There's another thing with the Slave One that happens later on that we have to talk about.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
No,
don't get him started yet.
All four of us are like, oh god. Okay, calm down. I'll get there. But yeah, we do have the great action sequence. It's a great action sequence. So it's a little bit long in terms of like, I think the final 2 bits of pirates was kind of like, all right, how many are there actually going to be? But I also foresaw the stormtroopers coming out, and it was a very nice touch.
Did you?
I did foresee it happening. I kind of was like, this was going to be, we're actually going to like cheer the stormtroopers arrival.
Yeah, I did not see that coming at all, and especially the TIE fighters. Like you hear TIE fighters, you're thinking trouble. Right? This is like saviors. Yeah. Like Bill Burr goes like, "Woo!" You're like, why is he cheering? You're cheering for the TIE fighters? What?
Never been happy to say TIE fighter before.
It's not, I mean, he did. I almost wish Bill Burr didn't say the line because it was almost like on the little bit of hammer on the head of the nail there, so speaking away. But like, because you're already there, we're kind of like we're cheering for.
And he even salutes him.
I want to tell these guys like these are the bad guys we're cheering.
That was fun. That was fun in a way.
But
so then
before we get into the base, there was another little thing that I thought was pretty cool. Is when Din is fighting the pirates, and he thinks he's wearing his armor, but he keeps breaking and he keeps getting beat. That was another cool thing.
Right?
I feel like that's a reflection of his journey. Like to me, I always try to find like the philosophy in the action just from being a martial artist, trying to find sense in the violence, the calm in the chaos kind of thing. Right. He is getting used to asking that question that I talk about of, is this the way? Mm-hmm. Like his arm, he's wearing Stormtrooper, which by the way, the Empire has all these resources, mind all this Beskar, yet their armor is made out of cheap crap.
And it does nothing. The armor does nothing. It doesn't stop blasters. It doesn't stop just like regular staffs. Like what is it for?
It's chip plastic.
Like you even see him go to put his arm up, like for protection.
And it breaks off.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, I'm not that person right now. I'm not the Mandalorian right now. Right now, I'm a stormtrooper. Like that armor, my safety mechanism has been taken away.
Right.
And you're seeing little chips of that get taken away. The taking off the helmet. The becoming friends with the Jedi, who are the mortal enemies of the Mandalorians. It's these little bits, these little bits of symbolism that Filoni likes to throw in there. That I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing there. Like that stuff don't get past me, Dave.
Dave.
Also, like you said, he's like from the fighting aspect, he's used to taking these hits and blocking them, but he figures out it's breaking off and he adapts. And the next thing he ducks. And he sort of like swirls away from the hits. And that was a cool thing as well. He takes a few in there, but then he adapts and then starts to juke away.
I feel like that's going to be a lesson for him for next episode when he fights Moff Gideon. We'll get into it, but it's like
the
definitely like, oh my God, I can't wait. I want the sound. I literally just want the sound on both of them together. That's okay. But yeah, this is just like him learning another mechanism of fighting, basically.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So we do get inside of the base or whatever. And I love when so Bill Burr's character, Mayfeld, comes up to the things. He's supposed to look into the cafeteria where the cafe, whatever it is, where the cafeteria. I know. Although the terminal is, and he sees this villain, this former officer, Fallon Hess.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love the fact that I love when they get these characters out there. I want to hear more about it. And I don't know the actor who played him.
Richard Blake, that's what his name is.
Mm-hmm. What a great shit weasel that guy was.
Yeah.
right? He's that great. Like you want to punch him when you see him. He's the perfect kind of enemy because you want him to lose, but he's so slimy, so.
Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards. That whole
I was going to get there. I was going to get there, Matty. But this whole
Okay.
sequence was very much Inglourious Bastards.
Yes, I brought that up before too.
It is like that vibe, right?
Yeah,
Was it too much for you?
he was the Night King in Game of Thrones.
Yes, he was, and I knew that. I did know that, and it's funny to see him without all the white makeup, whatever.
I know it kind of makes me want to go back and watch Game of Thrones.
It does look like him now that you mention it.
That is him, but so we see, but we'll get to. We should get to him in a minute. The Inglourious Bastards scene. The first big part of it, obviously, is when. This is where we go balls deep. We had just the tip before. Now we're balls deep. He's gonna take off his helmet.
Can I be the guy who sort of brings it back again? Just one little thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
Just another little thing that I thought was cool. The inside of the base was very much like the beginning of Solo, the Star Wars story. Where Kira and Han sort of split up. I got a lot of like Solo vibes from that place, and I thought it was another cool thing that they kind of threw it back to that.
They see where you're coming from.
Copied the design a little bit.
Absolutely, I can see that. Absolutely. So that being said, the great thing. So he decides he's gotta, because Bill Burr is too much of a chicken shit to go in with Valen Hess in there.
What kind of a, like, if you're Valen, you're sitting there, dude goes like, oh shit, just walks away, and you just keep eating, like, yeah, okay.
I have a feeling Valen Hess had a few Jamesons in him at that point. Anyway, that's what I thought too. He had a few, just like myself. But Bill Burr, it's a little. I mean, it was a little obvious because not only Bill Burr refuses to go in, and then later on he goes in without he's like going to push forward anyway. But Din makes that big first step, and I think it's. I mean, I think we're obviously getting there in a way. This is what Andres was talking about before. We got to see Pedro Pascal more out of the suit, or else why are we having Pedro Pascal in the suit in the first place, right?
Yeah. When we were watching it, someone made a joke as like, is it part of his contract to have his face shown at least one time per season?
That's supposed to be what it is. But I think we're going to get more and more now. That's my thought, is that now that we've met Bo-Katan, and we see, he sees that other Mandalorian, it's not just like his sect is the only one that is freaky enough to say, we can't show you mask. They wear their mask for everything, right? I mean, everything. There's nobody almost eating. You see him like just like putting his mask on. Like, what doesn't he do?
He will pretty much do anything now for Grogu. Like that, when he says that's the only way to get the kid back, he might sacrifice himself at some point for Grogu. Like he's ready to die for him. He's pretty much all in now.
That might be the finale. I mean, at this point, that might be the finale.
It could be, because I argue my own point. I said that he might go off on a different adventure after Grogu, but still, that's also a possibility.
Right.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Simply because season 3 is announced.
Oh no, yeah. I think we're talking about like by the end.
Oh, finale.
Yeah, not this season. For
finale. Potential.
Okay. We're gonna get to that because I got theories on that later on.
But he can still sacrifice himself and not die. Well, pretty much, he's ready to die, maybe. And
right. So we have the moment where he takes off the helmet, and then Valen Hess starts questioning him, and then Bill Burr decides that he might know me, but now it's too late. I got to go in and save him. Starts talking. I'm like, it's funny because like. He mentions that Brown Eyes is supposed to be like the superior officer.
Yeah, we just call him Brown Eyes.
We call him Brown Eyes.
Oh, great.
But Bill Burr is the one doing the talking at that point. Although I did like the whole like he was caught in the Battle of Tanab. Like they mentioned Tanab, just like Lando Calrissian was the general of the Battle of Tanab there. They mentioned that as where he lost some of his hearing or the pressure, whatever he said, like he lost pressure or whatever. And lets Bill Burr do what he does best, which is talk fast and let Pedro Pascal kind of look cool, right?
It was like he looked like he was confused by what was happening
the whole time. This is where
okay, I'll go with it. Sure, yeah.
And this is where the Inglourious Bastards part really comes into play. And like you're watching it, and the tension they created with that scene was so thick and so good. You're just like waiting for like on the edge of your seat. Like, is he gonna do something? Is he not? Like, is Valen gonna figure it out? Is what's gonna happen? And you're building to the tension. They mentioned Operation Cinder, which is
I gasped.
I was like,
let me actually really bring that back really quickly. Is okay. Love you, Anders. Always love you, my friend. Go watch the episode and then like come back and watch the rest of us. They are bringing things in from the Legends more and more. Before we even get to the base, they mentioned the ISB. Which has never been mentioned outside of the books and everything else. It's like, but they mention it like we should know what you're talking about, which I like. You don't need to explain everything, because even if you don't know the ISB, like if you haven't read in the books or know what it is, you can.
Is it Imperial Security Bureau? I'm just making things up. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, it is.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. See?
Yeah, and we've seen them before.
We have, but I don't know. Was it ever named the ISB in any movie or screen? Right. It's this is the first time they've actually named it. It's been in the books before forever. It's been a big part of Legends. It was always a big, huge part of Legends. So we get that as far as it is in Rebels a little bit. Yeah, that's right. It was kind of that the idea was in Rebels with Callus and everything else. But it was kind of things that the connection between the animated and the live action is starting to happen. And that's what yes.
Well, I mean, Filoni.
But because of Filoni is our god at this point. He's really connected to the way we want to see it happen.
I love Boba's line of, "I think they'd recognize my face."
Yeah, perfect.
Love that
perfect.
Really good.
so much. You guys have no idea why that line just put us. That line alone made me love this episode. That line, just like I had the stupidest smile on my face when he said that. I'm like,
right?
I get it. I know what you're referencing.
I only noticed that on the second watch, and I was like, oh my god, yes, of course.
You're right. Didn't say that he was an ISB agent, but I was questioning Tim. I'll ask because you're here and you're just not knowing. Did they say what ISB was in this at all?
I don't think they did.
They didn't say it in this episode. I wasn't sure if it was kind of a thing they said or not, but I will figure it out. But
I think they just said ISB. I think they've only ever just said ISB.
But that's basically what I'm trying to say, which is how cool it is that they are sort of bringing those things in, cherry picking them here and there that we're getting to be. You don't need to explain everything because you can figure it out. Like you can figure out that ISB is something imperial, something security wise. You don't need to know more than that. You can figure it out yourself. So that's where we were. What we're having is Inglourious Bastards like conversation, and I love the fact. Thank you, Tim says. I think, I do too. That's what I like about it. They have this conversation, and obviously it's give and take where Valen is pushing a little bit, and Bidoor does a great,
really good actor in that scene.
You can act, man.
Just with his eyes, you can see him getting like frustrated.
Yeah,
and then he gets like almost like misty-eyed, but like rage starts to build up. With so little, he does so much. Like I said to Matty as well, like Mayfeld is my favorite side character in Mandalorian.
Oh
yeah.
Like for sure, like way over Cara Dune, more than blanking.
Fennec Shah.
Anyone.
Boba Fett.
Fennec Shah, Boba Fett.
I was thinking of
Apollo
Creed.
Apollo Creed.
Apollo Creed.
Jackson. No, not him either.
His name is on the tip of my tongue. Carl Weathers' character.
Yeah, Carl. Yeah. Grief Carter.
Grief Carter.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't disagree. Yeah, it is a brilliant performance. It gets to that point. You're kind of like, it's going to happen.
It's coming.
Yeah, he's like pushing the buttons, like he's like trying to get a reaction, and when nothing happens, and he's just like, he has like a chip on his shoulder, and not giving him what he wants, he just shoots him in the head.
That's the whole thing. The best part about that to me was Pedro Pascal being like, because Pedro Pascal, like Din, knows what's happening, and he's waiting for it. He's kind of like,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
And when he does it, his look, it's like 5 seconds, like it's gonna go down.
It's a full 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It happened. What are you gonna do? And then the accent. Right?
He sold that so well, just being the complete shit weasel. He was like, we outlived them, son. They're eating themselves alive. I was like, someone put a fucking blaster bolt through his face right now. And when Bill Burr did it, I was like, thank you. Oh, wait. Uh-oh.
So there you go. Then becomes the big action sequence. They're trying to escape. They have the sharpshooters out front, which is kind of cool. They actually don't give in to doing the Wilhelm scream a few times. They do their own little.
The pirate almost did one.
It was an almost one. Exactly. It was like I like this. Not quite, but I know what you're trying to do, so I'll give you that.
But when the pirates were trying to take over the rover, there was also a really funny scream by one of the pirates.
There was. But I love seeing this action sequence. This is one of my favorite action sequences of the season, if not the whole series. It was fun. It was swashbuckling. It was cool. You had everything going for it, as far as humor and as far as action goes. And so it's a good fun sequence before they get away.
Nothing beats action scene wise. Nothing beats when Mando and Bo-Katan and the crew is taking that is my seeing them together. That is my ultimate action sequence.
Well, you get that. You combine Boba with the
even more than that. I don't know. For some reason, Bo-Katan is
from this
cool.
season.
Ahsoka as well, but this is fun. This is still
this was amazing. Like the fighting in this episode was definitely amazing.
Definitely. And then we get Boba involved. Boba catches them and brings them back up, and they're gonna fly away.
He's gonna lose his shit.
And I gotta tell you, I lost my. I'm like, I saw the slave one flying away. I see TIE fighters behind them, and immediately I got a semi and like.
Dude, I was like, I cranked the volume. I saw the go open. And charge. I was like, dude, max volume.
Even before that happened, though, I saw all it took would be to see 2 TIE fighters behind, slave one up here, and something. I'm like, he's gonna use it.
Yes,
he's gonna use it, and then he starts pressing the button. You see here, like.
I didn't think that. I thought he was gonna drop back through the middle and go behind them. But then I saw him press the button and the doors open. I was like, oh. I messaged Jarvi last night. I was like, dude, they did it. They used them.
I think all of us watching together, we just screamed. There was this just clapping. I love it.
They use just the right stuff from the prequels. They used the same sound, I believe.
I believe they used the same, the exact same sound from the clip.
Yes.
It wasn't recreated. It was just the exact same one.
Yeah, I think
they don't need to recreate. That is perfection.
Yeah, I was actually talking about it. That it's when they recreate stuff from the older stuff. That's when it doesn't sit well with me.
I get that. You want to. Real quick before we just go on, we do have 2 Streamlabs. I want to shout out there. Thank you so much, guys, for donating and keeping me afloat. Jeremiah Morris, my buddy from the Action Army, says, love this episode. Probably one of my favorite of the series. My only nitpick is how he had to use a face scan. What is the point of a face scan if anyone can scan their face?
Good question. I figured it was just to trigger the wanted stuff. You were already in the base, so you don't need to sort of authenticate yourself. It's just if you raise any red flags overall, but kind of a loophole.
I think that's kind of it. And because Din wasn't registered anywhere, not with the Republic, not with the Empire, his scan actually worked because they're not scanning all of the new recruits that they're getting.
Right, and I guess you got to say that in this time, by the time this is roll around, you got to have figured that a lot of rebellion troops or whoever have probably snuck in using Stormtrooper. Luke Skywalker and Han Solo were in Stormtrooper masks when they saved Princess Leia. So maybe internally they do want to have a little more secure check by having someone take their mask off, maybe.
Yeah, but we all know they're dumb. So.
Oh yes, that's very true.
Level 2 trading. They do use seismic charges in space in Attack of the Clones, and we do hear it. Yeah, it's Star Wars. You get explosions and
I don't
sounds
care
in space.
fiction or not. I do.
Oh, come
also,
on.
we got
it's science fiction-y, guys. Just detach from reality a little bit, and then you'll enjoy it more.
We got Streamlabs from Movie Fanobi. Steve, love you, my brother. Disney Plus presents The Harrisonian, where Ed Harris and baby PLD, otherwise known as Pogu, travel the stars and the abyss. Nice callback there. A simple actor and his son and making his way to the galaxy. Happy weekend of Epic Schmodown Day. This episode was okay, not great. Well, Steve, I do love where your head's at with the whole thing. I'm going to have my own Disney Plus series with Ed Harris. Me and Ed Harris going to go around the universe, book it. It's going to be told. I love it.
The only thing shocking me with that is that you're Ed Harris's son, not wife.
That could be true. You know, maybe it's. You know what, Steve? But I have to rewrite the script just
reword it and send another Streamlabs.
Jeremiah, I know you won't. I know you well enough to know that you will not cancel your Disney Plus for that. You'd actually record it. You would hate it, but you would record it anyway. You'd hate watching.
You would create a podcast for it.
So
I'd create a podcast for it for sure.
Nice. All right, so we get through it. They get to they get away, and then Din.
We get the threat from Din.
Din does the threat to.
Before that, though.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, they let Bill Burr go.
Yeah, they let Bill Burr go. Although, all right, this was a nitpicky thing for me, and I won't complain about it too much. But like, you're not stupid, Bill Burr. Like, he's supposed to be kind of like a clever-esque assassin. Is like kind of like they have to like really hit it over the head. You can go. Good thing you died in the fight.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like, he would have got it right away. Yeah, good thing I did die. See ya. Peace out.
But don't you think he sort of like played into it when he said, "All right, let's go"? Like, I figured he knew at that point, like, they were gonna let him go, or sort of he was fishing for it.
Yeah.
My only nitpick about that situation was, why did he stay on that planet?
Yeah, I wanted him to go with them. He's a sharpshooter. They can use him, and then give him his freedom.
My wife actually said too, was like, how is he getting off Iraq now? I'm like, I'm sure he'll find a way. But yeah, why not travel with him to a more, at least to like a more populous place?
Yeah.
Because Mork is not exactly well.
Not filled with people looking for you, wanting to kill you.
You got the Imperials and you got the pirates that were trying to kill you.
He's a savvy guy.
He is a little savvy.
He can find some work.
I mean, I can. Sorry, go ahead.
The way he left as well, going back to my Leo Getz point, he was very much like, okay.
Yeah, the only reason I would see him like staying on is to help the pirates take out the Empire.
Which could be. We'll have to find out. I think we see him again at some point, at least if not in Mandalorian, then maybe in one of the spin-off series we'll talk about, but we'll get there. So he gets through, and then Din makes his threat to the Moff, which is basically the same thing that Moff said to him at one point, which I like.
Yeah, I didn't realize that during my first watch.
He changed one word though.
Why is it giving you away? I was like, why are you telling Moff he means so much? You're like sort of showing your hand. Then the second watch, I was like, okay, I get it. I get what.
Yeah, he only changed one word because Moff Gideon said it and he said he.
Right.
Ooh, that is a good point, and I love that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
I'm kind of glad that they didn't show Grogu getting like blood extracted from him again, because I can't take that. I can't take that.
Did you see what Giancarlo Esposito said in an interview? He said apparently his daughter's texting saying, "Please don't hurt the baby. Please don't hurt the baby."
Ooh,
and he was like, "I'm going to smash that."
I saved him.
Got it.
I saved him.
Bidoor saved him. Oh, so good.
Well, we don't need the finale now. Thanks, Bidoor.
I saved him. No, you have to watch the finale because I'm in it.
That's right. Bidoor's in it, and she saves the day.
Yeah, I'm the Jedi that's actually like heard the call. Oh, sorry, spoilers. Spoilers.
I'd buy that. I'd buy that 100%. But
you're a Jedi. You're not on the dark side. All right, this show's over.
Ooh, she's a Jedi there.
Well,
I'm gonna say she's definitely dark side off camera. So we'll go.
Only in your DMs.
Oh.
That's true. We will. I'm not gonna get canceled now though, so we'll move on from that.
Did I see a Pomeranian in the background?
Oh yeah, I have 4 Pomeranians.
Oh my god. Okay.
Actually,
no.
No. Sorry, I have 7 Pomeranians. 3 are puppies in this cage.
Wow.
And then 2 golden retrievers.
Oh, Jarvi, you'd be in heaven.
Where have you been all my life?
Right. The golden retrievers are named Luke and Leia, and the Pomeranians, 2 of them are Rex and Cody.
So good.
Luke,
awesome.
you want to come say hi?
Yes.
Please do.
Yeah. More dogs on this show.
Nope. He just looked at me. He's like, nope, I'm going to go back to bed.
Fuck that. He's like, fuck that shit. But so yeah, Din gives the little take-in speech, like, I got a particular set of skills and you're going to go down. And there we are with the final episode coming up. We'll do a quick speculation before we get on to the Disney Plus news. What do we see in the finale? What are your thoughts? Go ahead, Bidoor, I want you to start off with this one.
I have so many.
That's why I want you to start off.
I have so many. Like, I probably will take out, like, again, so many people in my head having conversations about what possibly could happen. So there's like the whole, I was talking to Frank Janish about it, and I was like, okay, they're going to go save him. Bo-Katan is going to meet and probably take the lightsaber back. But the main fight is good. The main lightsaber on Beskar is going to happen between Moff Gideon and Din Djarin. That's one of them. And then he's like, I don't think Bo-Katan is going to show up. Okay, if she doesn't show up, then I'm going to try to go through it really fast. If Bo-Katan doesn't show up, they still fight. He takes the Darksaber and goes give it to Bo-Katan like Sabine gave it to her before. Baby Yoda is gonna wreck some stormtroopers' butts.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a little snippet of it, and we saw him force choke. So he's gonna be doing some shit, and then at the end, Din Djarin's gonna be like, "Good job, but don't do it again."
So you don't think a Force user will show up to claim Grogu?
If a Force user shows up, it's going to be like the last thing that shows up, set up for next season. Yep. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be the Darksaber moment from season 1 is when we get the Force user.
I don't disagree. I think
probably Ezra.
He'll get him back. He'll run away from Moff Gideon, and all of a sudden, let's think they're just about to be safe for a moment, and all of a sudden, somebody will be like, you'll see the equivalent of, "Hello there."
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be Obi-Wan. That's not what I'm saying.
It'll probably be Ezra. It's like the most likely. I feel like
it's leaning towards it.
I don't think it's going to be Ezra. I really don't think it's going to be Ezra.
I part of me doesn't think so too, just because of what they announced in the Disney announcements.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of clues to it being Ezra because of like Ahsoka showing up looking for Thrawn. There's like the call, and then there's like Lothcats since season 1.
Yep.
So there's like a lot of hints towards Lothal, towards Ezra. So I leaned first towards that. They might introduce someone new. I don't think it's Luke. If it's Luke, it's I wouldn't mind it, but I don't think it is, just because a lot of people will be mad about it. Just they're gonna make the universe smaller.
Right.
But again,
it could absolutely could be Luke.
It could be, but I don't think so. I've seen people say Cal Kestis. The only link to him is when Grogu was meditating. The ring around him was like the save point in Jedi Fallen Order.
Could be. It could be Luke. I don't think it will be exactly for the same reason you think it is. I think Ezra's. I think he might end up with Ezra. I think Grogu could end up with Ezra, but like not. But we're gonna get into some of the stuff when we talk about the announcements. I still kind of hold hope out for Quinlan Vos. I think
I've heard that. Yeah,
it's a great compromise for everything. He was a rogue Jedi. So rogue's a strong term, but you know what I mean by that. He wasn't like a typical Jedi. He touched the dark side in Legends. They could probably make that the same way in canon, and he'd be a perfect companion piece to Grogu, who's already touched the dark side a few times as well. So I kind of like working with Vos's. I know Filoni likes Vos. Put him in the one Clone Wars arc and everything else. So it would make sense to do that as well. I don't know if he's a transitional Jedi. Maybe we'll have to see. He might end up with someone like an Ezra or something like that, but we'll have to find out as that goes on. But either way, I'm expecting a big Fallout battle. Everybody involved. I guess my one question would be, Vos would be really old. Jeremiah, you're right. Vos would be really old.
I have one question though. When Baby Yoda meditated, is it to Jedi or to Force users?
Yep, that's what I was talking about after the episode. Like, one of my more far-fetched theories was that a dark side user will show up.
Yes, thank you.
Because what Ahsoka said, Grogu has very much attaching feelings towards them, and we know what attachment can lead to. So the foundation is there. So I'm kind of hoping that a dark side user shows up, but I don't know. It feels like the story would get more interesting that way. And that could mean that the Jedi who does show up is Ahsoka to sort of save the moment. And then they look for the next Jedi, whatever.
Could be. I don't see Ahsoka appearing anymore.
Anymore?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Not in this season anyway.
Okay.
I called it since they announced it was like she was gonna be in the thing, and I said it's only gonna be one episode. I don't think it's gonna be more.
I did the same thing. I did kind of leave it open that she might appear in the finale depending on how it went. But now that I'm seeing everything in peace, it's a one and done for now.
Yeah, I mean she still could show up. Like the other theory that I had of her showing up is because Bo-Katan knows where she is, and maybe she finds where Moff Gideon is, and because she has a lightsaber, so be like, come help me get my lightsaber back, and then they meet up there, and they're like, oh, you're here, and then they just team up together.
Right.
They could also get Cobb Vanth back, because if we think about the first season, the first season they get, and I'm blanking on the Ugnaught again. I have spoken.
Quill.
What?
Quill.
Yeah, they got Quill back for the final episode as well. So, but I'm just hoping that they don't. Nothing happens to Cobb Vanth.
They might, just because of one line he said in the episode 1 is, I hope to see you again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Could be.
I keep forgetting about him, but not forgetting his face because he's so handsome. But like I always have him in my group of the people that will go to Moff Gideon at the end. Yet I never mention him, but he's always in my head.
That's true.
I think we're gonna see I think they're gonna get away. I think they're gonna get away from Moff Gideon. Giancarlo Esposito said that he's gonna have a bigger role in season 3. I think they've announced Ahsoka now, so they're gonna be kicking straight into the marketing. I think the last shot we are gonna see of the finale is a certain blue-skinned Grand Admiral. Whether it be in a hologram or something else, but I think the very last shot is going to be a little tease of Thrawn.
I don't think so.
They already teased him. I totally think it could happen.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Just because Thrawn is not part of Mandalorian's story. He's part of Ahsoka's.
The name drop alone was enough to bring us into what we're going to see next. You know what? This actually is the perfect time. Let's get into those Disney Plus and Disney announcements we had.
Let me stop straight for that one.
Yeah, here we go. So we'll go right into it. You know, the first thing we'll talk about then is Ahsoka. Ahsoka was announced. I mean, let's be honest. This was not a surprise. This is the least surprising that they had. Definitely a backdoor pilot for the series. This is what we're getting Thrawn.
Yes, I love the logo. It reminds me of our manager or social media managers said it's very World Between Worlds.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Some of the people brought it up to me too, and I agree. And that's what we're going to get out of Ahsoka. I think we're going to get probably the most connections to everything else in the universe is going to be happening through Ahsoka for exactly that reason. Or between worlds. I'm so happy this is happening. Even though I knew it was happening, I still was overall very excited. This is my story. This is what I want to know. I want to see more about Ezra, Thrawn, Sabine, and see where she's going to go from here. Yes. And Rosario Dawson's awesome. So I'm very happy to see. Now, before I talk more about it, I will say they also mentioned the other one they announced that's going to be in that same era was this Rangers of the New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's cool about this is we'll get into specifically what that's going to be about because we have nothing else except the title. They did say that Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and Rangers of the New Republic are all going to be pretty concurrent, and then like they're going to actually cross over and have a big story event with 3 series, which is cool. I was actually a little surprised by that because I really thought Ahsoka was going to be more of a standalone as far as like I was going to go deep into the lore and not get involved, but now they're going to get completely involved in the Mandalorian story and also this other thing as well. My thoughts on Rangers of the New Republic, I have no idea what they're going for.
Do you think it's going to be like Cara Dune and Dave Filoni fighter in the other one?
Yeah, it can't be Dave Filoni leading because he's not an actor.
It's not. He's not going to be leading, but it's like going to be like surrounding them.
It could
be basically. Like what was the movie called? Like Mall Cops, but Space Cops.
Gotcha. That's an idea. It could be, but I thought this, and Jenny Joy, my partner in Chilled Action, said this, and I actually also was thinking this at one point. I almost wonder if this is where we get Cobb Vanth. Rangers of the New Republic, is he like a Texas Ranger? Like a law enforcement kind of guy. I could see Cobb Vanth being a Ranger of the New Republic. You know what I mean?
I'm down for it. Give me all of Cobb Vanth, please.
I think you see that Timothy Oliphant's a handsome man. I'd go after him in a second too. So, so yeah, that's my thoughts process on it. I don't know. In that case, it could be any way, shape, or form. What are your predictions at this point? Do you have any other ideas besides those two?
I like Cobb Vanth now more than Cara Dune, honestly, just because of another movie that they announced. I don't think they're going to have too many space stuff.
Agreed. We'll
too many
get there.
Space stuff in Star Wars.
I want to make a prediction.
That's so weird.
I already called this, I think it was like 2 weeks ago on this show, but I want to say it now. So when this happens, we can come back and say that we said it first. That crossover event is going to be another war for Mandalore.
So Siege of Mandalore Part 2?
Yeah, they're going to go back, and that's going to be when Bo-Katan goes to take back the throne.
Could be. Could very well be.
Bill Burr said the Mandalore is not there. You know, the armorer said that it's cursed. It's like we're going to find out. One way or another, we're going to Mandalore, and I think that's going to be the big event.
I dig it. Yeah.
It feels like Mandalore's fate is sort of like, in Game of Thrones, the Dragonland. Tell me the name. I read the book. I can't remember. You read the Game of Thrones books? Anyone?
Yeah.
The part where Targaryens are from.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, though. Sort of like first land, you can't go there. It's like, so I feel like they're sort of like foreshadowing stuff like that, sort of borrowing bits and pieces. But I think it's a cool thing. It makes it very mystique.
Yeah, mystique. That's a good point. I like that. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Don't know much about it.
Okay.
But I mean, if it's Cobb Vanth, yes, please.
Okay. I agree. It could be really cool. That's one of the big things they announced. They did announce, like I said, they announced Ahsoka with Rangers of the New Republic, and they're going to be together with Mandalorian, and then we're going to see some kind of big story event. But what I was saying, I think that's an action unfiltered earlier, is I love what they're doing with the announcement that we had from Star Wars, because it's like they have these little pockets of areas where you can focus on. I mean, that's the one pocket of Mandalorian and Rangers and Ahsoka. That's one pocket. You have in other pockets, you have certain things. You have like the kids show. Obviously, the droid show is going to be the kids show, like the Resistance series part 2, so to speak. What else we have? A little other cool things like Visions. That was another one I kind of liked.
What was that about?
That's the anime one. That's the Japan, the anime different, and I think it's going to be an anthology kind of thing, which could be really cool depending on what they're going with on that. I've never been like a huge anime follower, but give me Star Wars anime, I'm definitely going to watch and see how that goes down.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't turn into like Resistance 2.0 because that was too kiddie.
Yes, Jarvi, yes, Valeria. I get what you're saying about that, Valeria.
It's anime mixed with the void technology as well. So I think they've got some new little toys that they want to play with, and they're like, let's test it out with this Visions.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna watch it all.
Oh, I'm gonna watch every single bit of everything we got. So let's be honest.
Yeah.
Coming up soon, actually, though, is Andor. I love this logo, by the way.
It's cool.
It's a very cool logo. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Andor. We saw the sizzle reel. We saw like the behind the scenes wasn't a trailer because they've only been there for 2 weeks. But that actually got me a little bit excited about this more than I was. I don't know why I wasn't excited before. I can't really tell you why.
Because he's not the flashiest of characters, but his storyline is a really compelling one. He's not as flashy as Din. He's not as flashy as Ahsoka, but he's a really cool character in that story that we haven't gotten before in a Star Wars universe. So this is gonna go like probably not, but I hope more towards PG-13. So we got some of that stuff in Rogue One.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you got K2SO going to lead you that way as well because he's awesome.
K2SO, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Tudyk's going to do the voice again, I think, yeah?
I'm excited again.
I love Alan Tudyk. He's one of my favorite parts of Star Wars, like new saga, so to speak, as far as that goes. And yeah, no, I get that. Moving over, I get that. I totally get that. That's a little bit too kiddie for some people. I understand a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It did get better as it went on. I'll give it credit where credit's due, but
it had its moments, but overall it was just kiddie.
Exactly. But what else today?
The one that we were most excited about probably is the Acolyte. I feel like this is where I feel like we should talk about it now, because this is going to be the one that has the most theories. Right?
Yeah.
So this one is set in the High Republic era, right?
That's the best part about the whole freaking thing. That's at the end of the High Republic era. This is where we get to see Star Wars expand itself out. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the whole, need to be like, as far as it doesn't have to be separated. I like a lot of the connections it makes, but having this as a completely almost bubble universe where we only maybe see Yoda in the High Republic. I love the freedom that's going to give us.
Is this going to be like 80 years before?
I think 100 years before Phantom Menace is what I heard.
It's in the last days of the High Republic.
Right.
Yeah, if it's in the last days, it would be like...
Do we know how old Palpatine was?
In episode 1?
In, let's say, episode 1, yeah. Could it be a young Palpatine storyline?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I think at the end of the Acolyte, we could have them discover Palpatine. If the Acolyte is like maybe her master is.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like Darth Plagueis, like getting involved with Palpatine. That is what I'd like to see, though.
Like
we could see Darth Plagueis getting involved.
I'm 100% sure it's gonna be Plagueis.
You think so? All right.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Wait, do you think it's Bane?
No,
this can't be Bane. It'd be too early. I want to know. I do wonder if they'll just go completely new, and they'll talk about Bane. They'll mention maybe they'll discover Plagueis kind of at the end in a way, potentially.
I think it's gonna be Plagueis and his master potentially.
That could be, but I think is it a female lead from what I've heard though?
Yeah, and that.
Is it?
That's why I went back and I listened to the Leslie Headland interview that she gave a while back. She said it's a female-driven martial arts used thriller, and that's when my ears perked up and I started thinking again. I was like, it's set in the High Republic, which says a couple things to me. It means Dathomir is going to be a key location because the Sith acolytes were trained by the Dark Brotherhood on Dathomir. So who's a Zabrak, raised on Dathomir, becomes a Sith, could fit very well into martial arts sequences, and would have been pretty young at the end of the High Republic. If we're going with they could go very new. I think they're going Asajj Ventress.
Oh, okay. You went completely different than what I thought.
Wow.
I thought he was gonna go Maul.
No,
Yeah, I did too for a second.
I think they're going young Asajj Ventress, and if they are, you pick up the phone and you call Zanzi from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, House of Flying Daggers. You call her straight away because she would be perfect for Asajj Ventress.
Do we know who Plagueis' master is?
I don't know if he ever mentions his master.
Is he like the Dracula that he doesn't have a master?
So maybe his another theory. Maybe his master was actually a female, and it's still Plagueis.
Maybe.
Yes, you know what they did.
But isn't Asajj Ventress too young for that?
This thing, she's an acolyte. She's in training, so she could very well. It could very well be centered around her when she gets taken from her family. I think Mother Talzin will make an appearance.
Yeah. Does have a master in but not in canon. It's all legend at that point.
But legend is on the table now.
Right. It's Neverness or whatever is the one that that's the one. But yeah.
Maul does make more commercial sense though.
Yeah.
I feel like he's.
I mean, give me more. Like, give me more. Give me the Crimson Dawn series that they talked about for so long. Like, that's what.
Well, you know what?
Do that.
Let's get into that. Lando.
Oh, Lando. Lando is where I think the Crimson Dawn thing is going to happen. This is what I said before. Lando is Solo Part 2, but we're focusing on Lando, and the villains are still Crimson Dawn.
This is why I love Bidoor. It's exactly what I said on Action Unfiltered. Exactly to what I said. I do think that's potential. The only problem I have with that is since my time in Action Industries before we got here, I did look back at the actual production that they announced these things at, and I will say that they talked about Lando, they showed the Falcon. They showed it with like the initial like escape shuttle piece added still. So I almost wonder if, wrongfully in my opinion, if we're not going to see a prequel to Solo from Lando's point of view with Lando and the Falcon. I don't want to see that. I'd much rather continue the Crimson Dawn storyline and have Lando be involved in that.
That would be a smarter move, honestly.
I fully 110% agree, but I just don't know if that's what I saw as far as that was going down. And hopefully I'm wrong. They didn't mention his name at all. It's just kind of weird. They're like, I'm going to commit to this film, but not necessarily commit to the guy who made it, who's very popular. So it's kind of a strange thing. What are your guys' thoughts?
I want Emilia Clarke back as well. Level 2 trading.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all in agreement here.
Yeah.
All right. So, but that we're not going to know. Yeah, it's true. Jarvi will leave it. Okay. What else do we have as far as announcements? We're gonna start wrapping up. So you got 15 minutes left.
We have a big one that you didn't mention.
Oh, I'm gonna get there. I think.
Okay. I was like, wait, there's something big I didn't mention over here.
We haven't. Yeah, we've talked about the biggest one.
You don't go all in right away. You got to kind of like build up to that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So okay. I know. Never mind. I'm not gonna make a dirty joke.
Go ahead.
Paul's already there.
This is the place where you can make dirty jokes. It's fine. One thing we hadn't talked about yet, which I'll get to, the big one, obviously, we got the Bad Batch, which I should mention. I was not thrilled with initially when this announcement was made before Disney yesterday. It's kind of like, okay, I mean, the Bad Batch had an arc in Clone Wars. It was kind of cool. I wasn't like, but do I want a whole animated series about them in that time frame? Kind of like, I get the announcement, I get the trailer. I'm definitely more on board now than I was previously. I do like the aspect is we get to continue the clones' adventures because we all fell in love with the clone troopers in Clone Wars in a way. I know obviously we don't have fives or anything like that, but it does seem to showcase a lot of that. I like the concept of going around the galaxy as a team, as a unit still trying to do whatever they have to do to kind of help the Empire really now because they are being obviously hired by Tarkin or involved with Tarkin as far as that goes. I'm definitely happy about it now. I do want to see what we're going to get out of it. Are we going to get a little bit of Bo-Katan, what happened on Mandalorian out of that at this point? Other also potential possibilities, including characters. You get to see maybe Bo-Katan shows up, maybe Hondo shows up. That's kind of open-ended in this way. But I'm rambling on now. Bidoor, what did you think about the trailer and the future of Bad Batch?
Oh, when I did the reaction to everything, I did not see any of the news. So I watched the trailer live, and to say that I had tears in my eyes because I was like, oh, so it's not going to be like, oh, during the Clone Wars, we're going to go into Order 66. But then in my head, I was like, wait, do the Bad Batch not have chips in their heads?
You don't know.
That was like the number one question that popped into my head. Do they have chips in their heads or not?
I don't know. I think no. I think they don't. But the other question about that is were they around Jedi enough to make it a matter one way or the other? I almost feel like there's so much on their own that they didn't really worry about Jedi. But maybe
also, I love that when you mentioned the Bad Batch, this little guy showed up.
Aww.
This is Captain Rex.
Oh, Rex. So at the end of the day, I'm definitely happy that it's getting made. I will definitely like it and go from there. But yeah, well, yes, Echo did. Yes, Echo would have a chip. That's true. That's true.
Echo would have a chip, yeah.
There are two other big announcements that were made. I think we'll start with this one. There we go. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yep. We're having Hayden Christensen reprising his role and coming back. Anybody who is a fan of episode 3, like myself and Jarvi are, we're ecstatic about this.
Mm-hmm.
You too, Matty. I love this idea. I always thought Hayden got a raw deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's definitely a good actor. He showed that in Shattered Glass. He showed that in Life as a House. He has good
Jumper.
Right.
Dude, I love Jumper.
Jumper's great.
I love Jumper.
But George Lucas is not a people director. He is one of the best world builders we've ever had. A great editor, overall good director. He's not a people person. His idea is, faster and more intense. So when it comes to that, it makes it. It's hard. I hate giving him a bad name, but Hayden definitely could have done better as far as performance-wise, and I think part of that is his fault. So having him become Darth Vader again and face on Ewan McGregor again, and as Kathleen Kennedy says, the rematch of the century.
Yeah,
obviously it's not going to be a full-on rematch. You can't have Vader and Obi-Wan going all at it, and then as far as being Luke goes, I mean, especially because it's just, this is the one part that confused me. Hayden announced as Darth Vader. If Hayden is only Darth Vader, what does it matter about Hayden Christensen being involved in the at all?
How do we see Hayden?
I will tell you how.
Or?
Go ahead, Bidoor, because I think you're on the same page I am. So go ahead.
I will tell you how. It's going to be a moment in the show. It's going to be Obi-Wan finding out that the new dark side user is actually Anakin because he doesn't know. He thinks Anakin is dead on Mustafar.
Right.
So he's going to find out, and then they're going to meet up. Obi-Wan's not going to stay on Tatooine the entire time. And then...
All right. Let me interrupt you real quick, Bidoor. I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I have to say, I am so tired of hearing people say, Obi-Wan has to stay on Tatooine. He's got this mission, and if he leaves Tatooine, it's so awful.
No, I said he's not going.
Logical. Hello, I have kids. I leave to go to the fucking movies or go to New York City and leave with Grandpa and Grandma for a little while. It's not like he's leaving them alone in the jail cell somewhere. He's living with Owen and Lars. It's not like he's protecting them from. Darth Vader has no idea where he is. He can leave every once in a while and still be fulfilling his mission overall, right?
Yeah, I said he's not going to stay on Tatooine the entire time.
I know, but you mentioning that triggered my rant to other people, not you. I'm protecting you. I just seen a lot of people say that, and it always pisses me off. I'm like, he can leave Tatooine for a little bit and still be overall fulfilling his mission. All right, it's just it's ridiculous how people are like, he can't do that. That would make sense. He is a Jedi. He has to protect Luke. Fuck that. He can protect Luke from away, and it's perfectly fine. So I'm sorry, Bidoor, I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. I love little rants. I just thought it was towards me.
No, I would never rant towards you. I love you too much.
Oh.
Jarvi, I might rant a little bit. No,
yeah, so it's going to be a moment where they meet up. He sees him, and then Vader takes off his helmet and be like, "Look what you did to me. This is who I am now."
So we just get like glimpses of him, sort of like
him
as little as we've seen Pedro Pascal.
Maybe. I don't think he's going like he has to be because he needs to breathe. But that there's going to be a moment where he takes off his helmet. So I think that's going to be the moment. Because it wouldn't make sense of Vader walking around without a helmet when throughout the original trilogy we know that he needs the helmet to breathe.
Is it possible we see him like going back to the Clone Wars? We had the Yoda arc where he learned from the Wills, and he had that sequence where he saw everything as it could have been. Like Dooku was so good, etc. We get something like that, or Obi-Wan maybe learning from the Wills, or so to speak, about how to commune with the Force. We get to see like what would have been Obi-Wan and Anakin as brothers today if Anakin hadn't fallen to the dark side, that kind of thing. We get to see a moment like that with Hayden and Anakin and Obi-Wan together, and then it's slowly
getting goosebumps.
Yeah, right. I would love to see something like that, even if it doesn't work out. At the end, we have a kind of fight. Therefore, we still get Hayden in the suit being Vader, but you get to see Hayden and Obi-Wan have those kind of moments as well. Possibility.
That's my thoughts. I think we're going to see full body Hayden in the fight, and this is how I've envisioned this for a while because I love thinking about fight scenes. That's what I fucking do. I think we're going to get flashes of various sequences that happened on Mustafar, and it's going to cut between that he's fighting Vader, he's fighting Anakin, he's fighting Vader, he's fighting Anakin. We're going to see maybe it could be from Obi-Wan's point of view or the way it's shot. In some sequences he's fighting Vader in the suit, and in some sequences he's fighting the Anakin that he used to know.
We could. That's what I thought as well. We could get like from the first episode. Maybe it leads in as a prelude from some scenes from Revenge of the Sith, like sort of like extended scenes that we didn't see.
Right.
Sort of their interactions that didn't like sort of make it to the movie, and then we transition into Darth Vader later when he's on Tatooine or not?
Potentially. I will say, Jeremiah. Yes, I also thought a bit about myself, though, Jeremiah.
I think my dogs know when you talk about them. This is Luke talking about his dad.
Look at Luke. Aww. And yeah, exactly, Steve. Exactly. F that. Fuck the kids. He can handle himself. God damn it. I got stuff I got to do. Maybe everyone's gonna live his life a little bit. But not yet.
If he's not in this, I'm gonna revolt.
But
he's gonna be in it. He's gonna be in it.
He did a voice in Clone Wars.
Yeah, we've never seen him as a Force ghost, not in like Clone Wars, because that's the only time we've seen him as a Force ghost.
Right.
So it's gonna be a missed opportunity.
Absolutely, it's gonna be.
And I brought it up in another channel. I was like in the chat and they were talking about Star Wars, and I brought it up, and it may make sense. Me and Justin were talking about it, then it may not make sense. Han and Chewie also showing up in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It could.
I don't
hangs around Tatooine. He hangs around with Jabba the Hutt. He could absolutely be on that time at that time.
Yeah, the only thing is, like I mentioned, I thought that they knew each other in A New Hope.
Aww.
I thought that they knew each other in New Hope, and
Chewie knew him.
But
seemed like Chewie knew everyone.
That's what I thought. It seemed like Chewie knew him, but today me and Justin actually went through the movie, and that moment he's actually talking to a guy that points to Chewie first.
Boshek, that's true. Well, Legends he's called Boshek. Yeah, that's potential, but I kind of feel like he might still know him. Maybe he didn't want to go that route. I don't know. I'll have to see. I do like. I would like to see if that did happen. I do like that idea. But yeah, I don't know. But
what if Qui-Gon appears to Anakin instead of Obi-Wan?
I want to beam all together.
He wanted him in the first place.
Yeah, it's like, why have you become this? Is this what you become? I didn't.
You've broken my heart, Anakin.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I know we only have a few more minutes with Jarvi, so I do want to mention the one other piece of news that was brought up. There you go.
But that's a movie, right?
That's
Patty
a
Jenkins
movie. A movie directed by Patty Jenkins. And I'm all for that. She did that little piece on Twitter where she talked about how her father gave his life as a fighter pilot, and she'd been searching her whole life to do a fighter pilot story. Could never find the story. And here we are. We have a fighter pilot story, and in Star Wars, this is going to be good. Although, interestingly, I can't confirm this, but in the general's chat, Zach, one of the generals, quoted something from IndieWire saying that Kathleen Kennedy said that this is actually taking place post Episode 9, which surprises me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, right. That's exactly the same face I made, Bidoor. I initially thought it was going to be like New Republic era, like maybe post 6, between 6 and 7, so to speak. Get like the Adventures of Wedge Antilles a little bit, maybe potentially.
Exactly what I thought. Yeah,
that's what I thought. But now we're doing it post Episode 9, which is adding a totally different spin on things. I'm very intrigued about it. First of all, it's Patty Jenkins, and she's an amazing director, so I can't see how it goes wrong. But there's I think
Poe Dameron could be involved.
Do we get Rey references in there?
We could. If it's post 9, we absolutely could.
We could, but I'm thinking if it's like a Rogue Squadron, we could get more Poe than Rey.
We could absolutely get more Poe than Rey. Also, absolutely.
We did get Ahsoka in The Mandalorian.
True.
I have some fantasy writing.
Yeah.
Jarvi, I know you're gonna go with me on this. You go with me on most things. Just hear me out. This is gonna be Top Gun in space.
Oh
yeah, 100%.
Just like Top Gun Maverick with Ed Harris.
No, Ed Harris. You get my man, my best friend, my favorite follower on Twitter. You get TC Legend.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise in Star Wars. Top Gun in space.
Oh, I'm all about that.
Please. I will never ask for anything again in my life if I get Top Gun in space starring Tom Cruise.
And there's no way he'll ever do TV. Okay, never say never. But
I mean, it's a movie, so he can definitely do it.
So yeah, sorry, I don't know. Like we're talking about series, of course. Yeah, my bad.
Well, that's it. Any other announcements you want to talk about from Disney Plus, real quick?
Actually, you can continue on. I have to go for now, but you continue the conversation, and I'll listen to on my way.
Well, I am planning to wrap up as well too. But Jarvi, I will say goodbye. Thank you very much, brother. I love you. We'll definitely.
Thank you, Matty. Thank you, Bidoor. Thanks,
tomorrow. Actually, we're going to do tomorrow potentially. Yes. Class action. But anything else was made in the other announcements, Bidoor or Matty?
One thing, if we don't get Crimson Dawn in,
don't say that.
No. And if we don't get it in Lando, could we possibly see it in Obi-Wan? Because Obi-Wan and Maul are nemesis, and it's during a time where he is with Crimson Dawn, but before he gets locked up in the Sith Temple.
Potentially.
Is it after the end scene in Rebels?
It's not. Yes, Obi-Wan takes place before Twin Sons. From what I know. So
in the comics, Maul and Vader have a little bit of a showdown.
That's right.
On Mustafar.
That's true.
Could we see the three of them? A little bit of a menage a trois.
Don't threaten me with a good time. But yeah, I like that aspect of it. I definitely like that aspect of it.
Hey, Matty, did I blow your mind?
You did. You blew my mind, Maul.
So
Don't get me excited like that, because if Maul does show up, I'll be like,
it's going to, like, I will say it now. It's impossible for them to set up a Crimson Dawn storyline and not go through with it with one of these shows or a show on its own.
great.
Like if a show on its own is not announced, it has to be like a through line in one of these shows.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. Well, folks, I think that's wraps up the Disney slate at this point. Let me throw that up there real quick. So, that about covers it. So
that would be cool. I know it's not Star Wars, but it was one of the things that George Lucas wrote, kind of.
Oh well, yeah.
Coming up to Star Wars, so that would be pretty cool.
I agree with that. But I'm going to wrap it up here. I've been going for a little while longer. I want to thank Richard Jarvi, who popped in for a while. As always, he's been he was my ride or die. The first guy who started this. Matty Gunner had popped in a few episodes later and has stuck around ever since. Matty, where can the folks find you?
So you guys can find me on Twitter at Matty Gunner, Instagram Matty_Gunner, and on the Wild Jones Podcast Network every Wednesday and Sunday for the ONU MMA show. That's it. That's me.
Perfect. And then her first appearance on PLD-1138, and hopefully not her last. I'd love to see her make weekly appearances on the show if potential.
Come in for next week.
I
want to talk about it.
Well, no, we'll talk about the finale. I love Bidoor. Where can the folks find you?
I'm everywhere with Barking Dogs on Twitter and Twitch at BIDOORR. And on the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmodown channel, we're talking Schmodown, and I have my own Star Wars show. And starting next week, we have a new show coming out where we're going to be deep diving into the episodes, the shows that they've announced and where the potential storyline could go and who could show up. So if you want to hear what more of my thoughts, more of my inner brains of conversations happening, just show up on Wednesday and we'll be talking about Obi-Wan and more of how I think Crimson Dawn can fit into Obi-Wan.
Oh, I love that idea. And of course, you can always find Bidoor in my DMs talking dirty. And
that is also true. No one should ever see our DMs.
No one should ever. That's our running mantra. No one gets to see our DMs ever. We'll both be canceled.
Well, I mean, I got your Streamlabs password, Paul. So
that's you also find something to hack in there. But you find me at Paul and Schwarzenegger on Twitter. You can find me on the Call to Action podcast for Schmodown activity. Also, you can find me on Action Industries with Ben and Andrew Guy. Produce a lot of their shows, and we handle on that. PLD Project is expanding as best I can. A lot of Star Wars stuff to come as well. I love doing dirty. There you go. Dirty DMs. I love it. That's our hack. That's our tag team. That's our team right there. That's our team name. But I'll be back.
Like them double D's.
Double D's, baby. I love it. We'll be back next week for the season finale of Mandalorian, and then we'll go from there as well. I have other ideas potentially to do a Star Wars show. I actually did a Star Wars show a little bit, and I kind of stopped it for a bit because I was only doing it myself. Maybe if I get somebody I can bounce off of, like those people, we could continue those things. And I was exploring legends and things like that nature, but we'll get into that more later on. Obviously, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for your support. Thanks for liking, subscribing, all that stuff. And we got some stuff for the Schmodown Spectacular today. Obviously, I'm going to be touching base with Bidoor a little bit on Let's Get Ready. I'll be watching the Spectacular, do some stuff for Call to Action tomorrow. Join me on that. I got to catch a few hours sleep before that happens. But I love you both. I love you all in the chat. May the force be with you always. And we will see you next time. I should pitch one more thing, I guess. Me and Jarvi on Action Industries tomorrow. This is going to be just for the two of us. Nobody else might get this. We're doing The Judge versus Kodachrome. We love ourselves a good father-son story. And Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall on one side. And on the other side, Jason Sudeikis and my boy, Ed Harris. And I want to say real quickly, Richard Eric Jarvi proposed that I had nothing to do with it. But as soon as he said Kodachrome, I was like, "You're asking me if you want to talk about an Ed Harris movie?" Yeah, I'm in. I'm all in. So that'll be tomorrow on Action Industries. So we're gonna record that tomorrow morning. So be there for that. I think we'll probably go live about through noon Pacific. Otherwise than that, thank you again so much.
I just read that.
That might be a Patreon level at some point. We'll get into that.
Or anything.
But with that being said, much love, much love, much love. May the fortune be with you always.
Bye.
Bye.